Hello and welcome back to Mindset Theory. So excited to have you here, Sarah Easterbrook. How you doing, Kaylee?
I am doing absolutely amazing. How are you doing, Sarah?
So good, so good. The summer is here. We have been working outside as much as possible. So today we are going to talk about being in a rut. So, Kaylee, have you ever been in a rut where like you're on this go, 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 and then you're like, I keep going and then but I'm not really going anywhere, almost like you're a duck with one leg and you're like swimming in circles.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've been there too many times to actually be wanting to talk about. But it's true, right? I think everybody's been in that place at least once.
So we work with quite a few clients, and everybody seems to have a big vision, but the action isn't there. And so we have this conversation over and over again of just, what's your routine? Because you can tell if you're in a rut based on your routine. So Dr. Joe Dispenza in Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, if you haven't read that book, go check it out right now. We are not affiliated with it whatsoever, but you need to read this book. And our routines are our past coming to the present. Okay. So now hear me out. So he talks about look at your routine every day, right? You get up on the same side of the bed, you brush your teeth in the same habitual way with the same hand, you go to the bathroom the same way, you live on automatic, right? And then you get dressed and then you think of the coffee maker and then you're in front of the coffee maker and then you eat the same breakfast that you probably eat Monday to Friday, the exact same. You open the fridge with the same hand, the milk is in the same spot in the fridge, the ketchup's in the same spot in the fridge. You get in your car and you drive that same routine to work, get to work, do the same routine at work, see the same people every day, come home, the same route from home, have the same conversation with your kids and your family on what you're going to have for dinner, fight with your kids to do their homework and take a bath, put them to bed, sit down and watch the same show that you enjoy watching, and go to bed and do it all again.
Yeah.
So
And you know what? When you explain it that way, Sarah, I'm sure everybody listening right now, like you listening, you just thought of your day and you pictured that because that's how you live. That's what's going on right now, right?
so you're literally picking up your past and placing it in your future. Because guess what? You're going to do the exact same thing tomorrow.
Mhm.
Right?
Absolutely.
Same thing day in and day out. And that's what causes a rut. Because you do this day in and day out, so there is this, it's called the Hebbs Law. So it's, Joe talks about this all the time. Nerve cells that fire together wire together. So if you're constantly doing the same thing, like think of your brain as a computer. Okay. Like when you put your computer on, you type things into Google, it takes you to a web page, right? Because it knows the words, it knows the algorithm. Your brain is the same thing. It knows what you like to eat. It knows the language that you speak. It knows the routine that you're going to do. Your body automatically follows your mind to the known because you've programmed yourself that way. So if you want to change your life and you want to have new results, guess what? You just have to have new thoughts.
Mhm. Absolutely, because if you think about a rut, like when I think about a rut, I think about a Jeep going into like a nasty muddy hole, getting stuck and the tire spins.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I think about when I talking about a rut.
Yeah.
So when you get out of that rut, you know that you don't want to go back there because you know what's going to happen. But for some reason, we keep doing it every single day, keeping us in that rut. And until, like you said, Sarah, until you change your thought and basically like the pattern and the process of what it is you're doing, nothing's going to change.
This reminds me of a story. My fourth birthday, my fifth birthday. It was my fifth birthday. Yeah, my fifth birthday. We used to live in a townhouse. We rented a townhouse and it had a pool. And so my birthday's in May, so it was nice out. We're all running around. And I stepped on a piece of glass. And my uncle took the glass out of my foot and then he threw it. And then I stepped on it again. And he took it out of my foot and he threw it. The third time I stepped on it, he finally decided to change from the throwing it to putting it in the garbage. Right?
Yeah.
Like that little small change. That's the same thing with your thoughts. I can't remember who said this. Might have been Peter Sage. Don't quote me on this. But if you look in the mirror for 3 days in a row and you're not happy with the results you want, that's insanity. That is the definition of insanity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So change your thoughts, change your rituals, change your results.
Yeah, because if you really look at your life, because everybody's rut is different, right?
Yeah.
Everybody is in a different place in their life. Like I'm never going to be at the same exact point in life than Sarah or my neighbor or my husband even, because we don't have the same thoughts and we never will.
Yep.
But when you are in the rut, one of the biggest things you could do is just ask yourself why. Like, why are you there? What are the thoughts you're having that's keeping you there? And why are you choosing to stay there?
And that's the key, right? Right there. What are the thoughts you're having? And write them down. If you're getting results that you don't want, write it down. Then write down the thoughts that you're having in your mind that's making you think of these results. And then you're going to see the answers right there. Okay, I'm going to start thinking that I'm a positive person. I'm just going to start repeating positive affirmations in my head. I am powerful. I am positive. I believe in myself. I'm the master of my destiny. I'm a powerful creator. I create the life that I want. That one's my favorite, and I use it, and I have it on my bathroom wall every single day. So when you start to, it's called a mantra, right? When you start to think that negative thought, what can you replace it with? Because you can't have a negative and a positive thought at the same time. So remove the negative thought by replacing it with the positive thought.
Yeah. So I do a exercise with my clients, and it's basically like filling the gap. So we usually find ourselves in a rut when we are thinking of something different, but we can't get there and we feel like we're just spinning, right? But the reason we can't get there is basically because of the actions we're doing.
Yeah.
Right? So if you think about what it is you're trying to do or wanting to do or hoping and wishing to do, there's a disconnect somewhere. So you're mentally thinking about it, and that's all fine and dandy, and that's what I always say is think about the things you want, but there's a big difference and a gap between thinking about it and then actually putting in the actions to do it. So when you're thinking about what it is you want and you feel like you're in that place of spinning tires and not getting closer to it, sometimes you even feel like you're falling further behind to get to it. Just sit down and break it down. Like whatever your goal is and whatever you're working towards, write that down. But then look at your day and you can very distinctively see, the things that you are doing, the actions you're taking, and is any of them helping you to get there? This is the part in your life where you have to just like own up to your shit and get real with yourself and think, this is what I want, but this is what I'm doing. And you're going to very quickly see that the rut you're in is because of your actions.
Yep. And, a lot of us, we set big goals. And no goal is big or small, right? It's however you see it. But a lot of people are like, I cannot get to $1 million in my business because my external environment, my family, my job, and all these things. But if you were to create a plan and create an action plan, right? And say, I'm going to do $1 million in a year in my business, and you do 1% a day, 1% of that action a day, you have 365% in a year. Like, that's a lot of growth in a year. But we live in an instant society. We have same day delivery. We have email. We have food delivered to your house. We have Uber. We have Amazon Prime. Like, we have, you can make a meal in a microwave in 30 seconds. Like, we live in an instant society, but it's not real, right?
Mhm.
It takes time. A lot of people, and we are really good at convincing people that things come easy, right? Marketing today online, grab my free planner, how I made $1 million in 30 days, how I closed 70 clients in 10 hours, right? Like, you see the marketing plan online. They may have done that now. Yes, it is completely possible to make $1 million in a month, but that's not where they started. That's where they are now. Okay, so you have to meet yourself where you're at right now, or you will continue to spin your tires in the mud. You will continue to be in this rut, and then you may never get to that goal, and you may end up with regrets when you reach the end.
Yeah, so a really cool exercise that we've actually learned from our business coach is that if you have grid paper, or if you don't, just like draw a grid on lined paper, whatever, blank paper, and put your goal in the top right corner, and then put your starting point in the bottom left corner. So obviously you want the line to go straight up, but that's not how it happens, right? That's not how it happens. It's going to go up and down all the way to the top. But the coolest thing that I've learned, and what they're telling us to do, is just like you with your goals, from here to there, it's hard to see like all the steps, right? But the easiest part to see is the first step that you need to make, the second and the third. Like, those are more of what you can see rather than like the steps at the very end. So just take the first step, then the second, then the third. Because to plan it out from start to finish is nearly impossible to do, because you're never going to know exactly how it's supposed to, or literally how it's going to go. So just put your goal on the paper in the top right corner, where you are starting right now in the bottom left corner, and then just mark out the first 3 steps you're going to take to work towards it. And that's a great place to start, right? Because just taking that first step is getting your tire an inch higher out of the mud to get out of the rut, instead of just staying in it, right?
And adding to that every day, right? Like, make sure you're writing in your journal. So you need to break this habit of being yourself. Like, I'm just going to quote Joe Dispenza here. You need to break the habit of being yourself, because being yourself right now and what you're doing isn't getting you the results that you want, right? Like, you want more, you desire more, you want to feel fulfilled. So, like, he talks about, it's possible to think greater than your present reality. And that's where most of us sit. We believe we're this person, that this is our life, that we are meant to suffer, that, we can suffer more than other people, right? We play that victim mode. We believe that this is how life is supposed to be, but it's not. If you were to sit down and you use your imagination and create the possibility of what your future can look like, just like Martin Luther King Jr., William Wallace, Marie Curie, Gandhi, Thomas Edison, and Joan of Arc did. All of these individuals had a concept in his or her mind of a future reality that existed as a potential in the quantum field. And I read that from Overcoming Your Environment, chapter 2, page 47, in Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza. So everything that you desire is readily available. Internet has always been here. It just took the idea of it to bring it to reality. Cars has always been here. It just took Ford the idea of creating a horseless carriage, right? The idea of working online has always been here. Just took this, right? Flying cars, right? They decided that they wanted to get vehicles in the air to create the impossible, to get people from point A to point B. Hence, we have airplanes, right? A flying vehicle to get us to the other side of the world. To us, back then, we would have thought the Wright brothers were crazy, But we don't think that today when we get on a flight and head over to Cancun, right? We think of the fun that we're going to have there, the memories we're going to create.
Absolutely. So that's all it is, right? It's just the thought of the potential that you have, because you do. You have all the potential in the world, right?
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
We got comfortable. We are the most comfortable we have ever been in the human life. We got comfortable. A lot of us don't want to go to work, so we collect unemployment. A lot of us refuse to dream big. We say things like, that'll never work. I can't do that. I don't have that courage. I don't have the time. We got comfortable. You know what? It's not even comfortable. We got fucking lazy. That's what it is. We got lazy. Back in the day, if we needed butter, we headed down to the neighbor's house and we traded flour, right? You traded flour for a stick of butter. Back in the day, we ate what we grew. We ate what we killed. Like, that is how we lived. But somewhere between the 1900s and 1980s, after the Great Depression, they decided that we needed government. Government came in. We created what is now called social assistance, right? Social assistance was there to protect us when we went through financial crises like we are going through right now. It wasn't there to subsidize hard work.
And you know what I just thought about when you were saying that, Sarah, was that that's a lot of people's ruts there. That's a rut a lot of people are in right there. Thinking that it's just enough to get by, so I'm not going to try. Right? It's like we paralyze our minds to think big, to think even a little bit bigger than what we're doing. Right? Because being in a rut does keep you from growing. Doing the same thing every single day does keep you from growing, because you're not changing your thought patterns, and you're not changing your thought process to think any different. And when you don't think any different, you don't do any different. You don't take the actions in a different way to do something you've never done.
And I think we stay in a rut too, because people say things to you, right? They say those goals are unrealistic. It'll never happen. You won't be successful. What makes you think that you can grow this business? What makes you think you can do this? Nobody else can do this. Yeah, here they are. They're doing it. So if they can do it, we can do it, right? If other people can do it, we can do it. It's just the thought process. It's the using the imagination and making the decision to do for it. But we get so afraid of what people are going to think and say and do to us that we just find it comfortable to stay where we are, even if we're unhappy, even if it doesn't fulfill us. We stay where we are because it's more comfortable than feeling that uncomfortable feeling. And when you do something outside of your norm and you do rewire your brain and you create those new neurons in your brain, your body is going to fight you, and it's going to buck, and it's going to kick, and it's going to send you some nasty thoughts and nasty messages in your mind because you're doing something unfamiliar. It's like working out. Okay. When you want to work out, you convince yourself all the reasons why you don't have to do it today, because it's uncomfortable, because it causes physical pain.
And you know, another thing that keeps us in a rut is our lack of decision making. So my whole thought on decision making has changed over the past year and a bit, almost 2 now. Because whenever I was in a rut and wanting to change, like I had the thoughts of something different, wanting to do something different, but I always needed like an external validation for it to be like, yeah, you should do that. But the thing where I didn't realize I was going wrong and doing was asking somebody for advice and doing the thing I wanted to do that had no thought process towards what I wanted to do and the fact that they would do it, right? So if you ask somebody who doesn't strive for anything in life and is comfortable with the bare minimum, if you should do something out there and crazy and go after it, they're most likely going to say, oh, I don't know if you should do that.
Yeah.
But if you ask somebody who's doing that, who's seen the success, who knows it's possible, and you bring your idea to them and say, this is what I've been thinking. I don't know. Should I do it? I want your advice. Hell yeah, go for that. I know it works. I've been there. I've done that. Do it.
Yeah.
But we go to people for advice on what it is we should do, and their answer is what we allow to determine our decision.
Exactly. Which then in turn determines our results, right? And then if you do, like, we tend to go to like our parents, our best friends, our spouses, and sometimes they're not on the same page. Sometimes a total stranger that you don't even know will be the one to say, yes, go for it. But the people closest to us, because they live in fear and they live in lack and they live in their little bubble, they're going to say, oh, that's not a good idea. Maybe you shouldn't do that. What if, what if, what if, what if, what if, what if? That those two fucking words can destroy anybody's dream.
Yep.
Right? Like, what if? Okay, let's talk the what if game right now. What if the person who decided that maybe we should play this game and it's a stick and it's a puck and it involves ice, maybe we should not try this? Then we wouldn't have hockey or basketball or baseball or the Olympics or TV or the internet or waffles, right? Like, these things wouldn't exist if somebody just didn't try. Or potato chips, right? Or Post-its. We wouldn't have these because if they decided, what if it doesn't work?
Like literally everything in our lives, if somebody made the decision based on somebody else saying, I don't know, you should or you shouldn't do it, what if it doesn't work? And everybody listened to the what if it doesn't work, we would have nothing. But it's the people that took the what if it doesn't work and challenged it to think, but it can and I'll make it, and went for it.
Because people are like, because it's not in our current reality right now, because we can't physically see it, we physically can't understand the concept of it because it's not in our current reality, it's still in the quantum field. People have trouble believing it. But your children were once not in this reality. You decided, I wanted to have a baby. It was a thought. Then you went and had some fun and you conceived the baby, right? Like, and now you have a baby, and that baby is not going to stay a baby. It's going to be a toddler, then it's going to be a teen, and then it's going to be an adult, and then it's going to have its own life to deal with, right? But it was once a thought, just like anything. So your dream right now is just your thought. So you are the one who's going to bring this to manifestation. You're the one who's going to bring it to the reality, nobody else, because we don't live in cone heads, okay? Like, you can't put something on my head and read my thoughts. I can't put something in your head and read your thoughts. It's your thought. It's you who brings it into life, into your reality.
Yeah, and what I want to say to you, if you're listening and this is all like a huge aha moment for you right now, is if you've been having thoughts of wanting to do something different or just wanting more in life and you're not quite sure what it is, like, reach out to us. We'd love to chat with you. We'd love to help you, like, take that thought and go for it, because we're sitting here. What we're doing now was a thought not even a year ago. Like, what you want to happen in your life and what you want to get out of a rut doing can happen, and it doesn't have to take a long time either, right? We think sometimes that what it is we want is going to take a heck of a lot of work and it's going to take forever. Yeah, it's going to take work. Everything in life does. But it doesn't have to take forever. I'm going to tell you, the longest part it takes, or the longest part of what it is you're doing, is just you making the decision to do it.
That's it.
Because once you make the decision to do it and get out of the rut and move towards what it is you want, everything just happens the way it should. It's the part of, yeah.
Like, making that decision is the longest part. I remember one time I decided I was going to jump off a cliff. I'm like, yep, I'm going to jump off a cliff. So my girlfriend and I got in the car, went to the gorge where there's little cliffs, not high. It's probably like 20 feet, maybe 20 feet, maybe something like that. Wasn't that big. 45 minutes. I would go, be running. I'm like, nope. And then I'd back up and I'd run. I'm like, okay, now. And then back up. And then I would be back, and then I'd stop and I'd look over the side and I'm like, okay, you can do this. And I'd psych myself up and then I'd start running and then I'd put on the brakes. 45 minutes back and forth. And then 5 minutes said, I'm just jumping off the side of a pool and I just jumped in. And it was the most invigorating experience of my life.
Right? But once you did it, it just happened.
It just happened. It became my reality.
Yeah, right? So, I mean, it's coming from a place now where it was my headspace that had to change around all of this, though. Like, if I didn't have the mindset that I have now, I would still be in a rut that I was in, a year and a half ago. Yeah. But because I've changed my thoughts, like, that's what really got everything going for me. Because if I didn't have the thoughts I have, I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And that's literally where it all starts, is taking back your power, because we all have the power within us to do whatever the hell we want to do in life. But somewhere along the way, growing up, we give our power away. We hide it. We lock it up. So when you have the realization that, holy fuck, I'm powerful and I can do whatever it is I want to do, like, there's not one thing in the world I can't do. My God, your whole life changes. Like, literally your whole life changes.
That's my mantra that I repeat in my head. I am powerful.
What is it, Sarah?
I am powerful.
Yeah.
Meditation, and Joe says, what's that feeling? What's that feeling that you want to bring into the physical world? And I say, I am powerful. And then my entire body vibrates. And whenever I have a negative thought, I say, I am powerful. So that's my mantra.
Yes. And it's so true. And that's what I've been feeling lately, because doing the things and taking the action is so different than just thinking about it, right? You can think about it, but actually doing it is going to get you out of the rut and move you towards growing, right? I said that at the beginning of this episode, is the thought and the action is different. So have the thought and then put your body into motion to go towards it. Because, I mean, it's like a amusement park ride, right? When you're sitting there in the line thinking about getting on the ride, and then you walk up to the gate and you get into the car seat of the ride. That was a thought that you're now moving your body towards. You're getting in the cart. And when you do, and that button is press go, you're fucking gone, man. And that's how life happens. When you make the decision and you put your body into action, you go. Like, there's no standing still. Like, you go.
Your body is always moving to your thoughts. So when you get up in the morning, you're like, bathroom, you're in front of the toilet. Then you're like, coffee, you're in front of the coffee maker. Breakfast, you're in front of the fridge or in the drive-thru, right? Work, you're at work. Soccer, you're at soccer. Your body is always moving in the direction of your thoughts. Think about that, right? When you have to go to the bathroom, your body's like, okay, you're like, I gotta pee. That was the thought. Then you're in the toilet, right? That's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are in a rut and your car's stuck in that mud and it is spinning out of control, call a tow truck. We'll be your tow truck. So call us.
Call us. We'll tow you out. Oh God, I love you, Sarah. All right. Well, this was an awesome topic. I'm hoping you guys got some aha moments out of it, or just like some motivation and some fire in you to do something that you've always wanted to do. But subscribe, love us, comment. We're here to help you. What do you say, Sarah?
Hit that bell.
So hit the bell so you don't miss an episode. And we will see you guys on Monday.
See you later. Bye.
See ya. Have a good day.